Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. I'm gonna put this video before I put out the showcase for Renard, because it seems like people aren't really hype on him anyways, and this is more important because this leaves on Sunday, so we have a very limited time frame to do this. So this is the Holy Clash Hinata raid, whatever you want to call it, damage dealer event, and it's simply do damage. Like, there is ranking, yeah, sure, but the main point of this is to, do damage, and that damage gets added together with everyone else in the world who's doing it, and then we get rewards for it based on the total amount done. Now, this score should actually update in about 8 minutes or so, and it'll tell us, like, what milestones we have hit. These are the first stages of the milestones. I expect us to be somewhere around like 2.5 to 3 in the first day. Japan really goes crazy for this shit, and there's people doing it in global as well. We will hit 4 billion in like 2 days' time, so there will be other steps for rewards added on after we hit this 4 billion. It always happens. This is like the third or fourth raid that we've had, and it's always got like EX steps or something. It goes up to like 8 billion damage. So don't worry, these rewards, aren't great, but they will get better. Maybe we even get special armor for Hinata. Sometimes the raids do that. But what is so special about this raid? Literally nothing. You get a set starting hand of 6 greens, which is very nice, because you can do a lot with just 6 greens. And the first stage and the second stage aren't really that different. Except for the second stage, Hinata hits like a truck. And you actually may have people die, because she might just really hate somebody, and she will focus all her attacks on them, and they will die. Other than that, I mean, the stages are essentially the same. You both get, set starting hands of greens. Nothing is really debuffed at all, so you could crit, pierce, synergy, whatever you want to do. She's type neutral, so weakness strike does not matter here. Protector, 60% damage buffs from protectors don't matter, so just use whatever team you really have. So we're going to show off a number of teams in this video. We're going to go into Boss 1 because there's no threat of dying. And if it works in Boss 1, it'll work in Boss 2. Literally nothing is different except she hits harder. So let's just go ahead and jump in with our best run so far. Alright, so before we get started, there we go. It updated because it's 7 o'clock now. And we have cleared the 2.5 billion mark. We are on to the 3 billion. So yeah, give it another day. We'll hit 4 and they'll add some more steps in. Excellent. The one thing I forgot to mention is that there are ranking rewards for doing this, but it's anniversary coins, and it's pretty generous as to where you need to rank. So reward up to the top 10% get the maximum 30 coins here, and then it starts going down. So realistically, there is no reason for you to really try and push and sweat. Just, contribute to the damage so everybody gets the rewards. Whatever coins you get, congratulations, move on with your life. And that's it. This is a low-stress scenario that we're doing, and you're just trying to have fun and test out some teams in a type-neutral setting. Alright, first up is the Exalted Champions meta, last month, so people probably have it. And it may not look exactly like this, because you might not have Violet, you might not have Shizu. Does not matter, just do the stage. The normal battles give you like 100 tickets to start out with or something. Plenty. And it only takes 1 ticket per fight. But this is the team that I have my current best high score on. I know JP is doing something freaky, and I haven't figured it out yet, but they're like 200,000 extra above everyone on global. They do weird shit over there. So turn 1, use Veldora's green buff, and then bring in Guy and Milim. You're going for a double nuke. So 2 EX alts times 2, Guy and Milim, on turn 3 and then turn 6, because it's a 6-turn fight. So you send these 6 greens, it gets you a lot of points, gets you a lot of gauge. Excellent. And, we've spent the last month going over how the Exalted Champions team works. So there is RNG in this team to get like the high score that I have, but if you don't care, then just run it. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to rush the alt for Milim and Guy. Here, like on turn 2, you can have like 1 orb of both of them. It's fine, because we're also going to use Shizu to rush the alt and put the 2-turn alt resistance down debuff on Hinata. We'll use Velzard, make it a full hand, This will get us the EX alts for Guy and Milim. That's important right there. And we've left Violet in because we're going to full buff next turn because we have enough points for it. Almost exactly enough. So guarded that hit, kind of unfortunate is what it is. This hand isn't so great, but it kind of depends on what turn 4 has to offer. So here, Milim buff, synergy buff with Guy, magic buff with Violet, and that leaves us with just a few amount of points. Now we're going to bring in Shizu, and we're going to reset all of Guy and Milim's skills back down to their base cost, and that's pretty important for this. We'll use Velzard again, boom, and then we'll send Guy first because he's got the defense debuff on his alt, and then we'll send Milim. It'd be better if we had Milim orbs right here instead of Guy, but it is what it is. Her weakness strike doesn't matter, so her and Guy almost hit the same. Like, if they were both 100, they probably would hit the same levels on their normal orbs. I think Milim does like 101k, so not different there. But 3 orbs for Milim, 2 orbs for Guy, that is going to work very well because what we're going to do next is we're going to re-rush the alt, and we're going to reapply the green buff with Veldora. So that's why we reset everybody with Shizu last turn, so we could reapply, re-rush this, and then we'll bring Violet in again. We need her up front right now. Use Velzard again. Now that the green buff is active, it'll be easy to cycle, and we'll send it. And because Violet has both the synergy and the magic buff from the last time, she's actually going to hit harder than everybody here, so we send her last. So yeah, Guy's doing 8,000 right there, and then 200% from her does 89,000. So we sent her last. But we're just a little bit off of Milim's EX alt. Not a big deal. We have Guy's EX alt. That's important. We'll reapply the magic buff at full cost, and then we'll bring Shizu in for Guy, and we'll use her alt rush ability again, because that also got reset, and that's going to give Milim her EX alt, and reapply the alt resistance down on Hinata for the final nuke turn. And then we'll bring Veldora in for her. We'll send this, whatever it is. You know, if you don't have and you get an EX alt for Violet here, like, great, cool, awesome, but not really that worried about it. So boom, boom, boom. Violet again has the magic buff, so she will hit harder than the other 2 units, so send her last. And now, we're ready to go, as long as you have orbs for everybody, which we do, thankfully. And we have an alt for Shizu, so I guess we'll send that too. So Milim will come in for Violet or Veldora, probably Veldora because he's got that extra orb coming. Yep, there you go. And then Guy comes in for Violet. She has nothing else to gain here. And we'll reapply the Milim buff and the Guy synergy buff, and we'll be good to go. And we even have enough points to use another stack of the synergy resistance down, which will just help our damage out. We'll use Velzard, and then we'll go ahead and nuke. Sending Guy first, that way Shizu can do, she's going to do peanuts, but she'll do a little bit more than what she would if we didn't send Guy first. So 386k, awesome, defense down. Shizu does 76, cool. Milim does 1.1 million, and then the follow-up orbs were looking pretty good. And we hit a final damage number of 3.9 million, just shy of 4. If your units are more duped out, then you'll hit 4 or higher. And again, I don't know what JP's smoking over there, but this is my current high score for Hinata's first boss battle. Like I said, take this exact same team, take the exact same strategy, go into boss battle 2, run it the same way. You may die because she hits you, but other than that, nothing is different between the 2 fights. Let's try a different team now. Alright, the second team we're going to show off is another green-focused team, the Overlord team, with a few other things added in. It's a full collab team regardless, so we've got Rimuru, Mirai from the Idolmaster, Shoutir. Technically, Shuna isn't a collab unit because she's Christmas themed and she returns, but still. And then we've got Overlord, Shizu, and Ainz. And, this is a green-focused team. We've also brought Mirai. We are bringing the skill point units up front, Soe and Space Milim, so we start with 40 skill points, which means that turn 1, we can use Mirai's Future Hand of Green, and pretty much keep using that forever. So we've brought literally no orb changers here, because we're banking on having just Mirai resetting and giving us Future Hands forever and ever and ever. So we've done that. We'll bring Ainz in. We'll bring Shizu in. Her weakness strike, again, won't matter here, but the alt resistance down certainly will. The guaranteed crits from Ainz, the magic attack, the alt damage from Shoutir. Shoutir also has the capability of rushing her own alt with her Despair skill, so it means that, we can if things go out the way they should, we can get 3 EX alts here, and we do. But here, you know, it's a full hand of greens, full hand of Shoutir. We have 74 points, which isn't a lot. Normally you'd like to have about 100 here, but we can make it work. So we're going to use the Ain's Despair skill because that gives extra protection gauge on greens, and then we need to bring Mirai in, reset her, and use the future hand again. And that's pretty much what you gotta do. So you're gonna have to sacrifice somebody here. So we sacrifice Shizu. She only has 1 orb, and she's also not, you know, the primary damage dealer. We have a lot of orbs for Shoutir, and we can't really, I don't really want to give that up, because it just means that we can get her ult faster, and we don't have to use her as much, and bring her in and keep swapping people out. So there's her ult, perfect. We'll send this, and that's pretty much what you're gonna do. We don't hit the same damage numbers as we do with the Exalted Champion team by any means, but, I mean, it's still a respectable number, and at the end of the day, it really doesn't friggin' matter. So, as long as we're doing damage, that's all that counts. So now we're going to use both the Despair skills, plus the live mode from Mirai, which means that for every green orb we send, it will do we'll get an extra 2% permanent attack stack. We'll reset now, and then we are going to use Mirai's live future hand again. Boom. We're going to get her out of here. And then we will bring Shizu in for Shoutir, because we've guaranteed that the next orb will be green using Mirai, so we don't even have to use the alt swap ability yet. So we're keeping things as cheap as possible. And because Rimuru is stupid, he's giving us a literal shit ton of skill points. So, I mean, this is a fun team. I like the Overlord team. It should have been a lot better with, you know, the Despair skill being what it is, unfortunately. So we got 3 turns left. We're going to use the future hand at full cost because I don't really care at this point. We have way too many points to care about it. And then we'll bring Shoutir in for Mirai. We'll use her Despair skill and continue to rush her ult. We're going to reset everybody up front first, though, just in case. And then we'll bring Shoutir in for Mirai. Use her Despair. I mean, the Despair, it does help us do extra ult damage. We'll use the skill or the alt swap ability, and we can go ahead and send it. This will get Shoutir's EX ult, so that means she's good for another turn. And now at this point, we just need to make sure we get a lot of orbs for Ainz and Shizu to get their EX alts. And thankfully, we do. Ainz needs, you know, less, but we have 3 guaranteed orbs for Shizu. That's pretty good. Even if we were to swap Shoutir away, it would still be 3 orbs for her. But that will be enough to get her EX ult. Shoutir is already good. We'll do another stack on everybody because we're going to ult with all 3 of these characters. We brought Idol Shuna only for the synergy. And we're going to use that on our 2 single target units, being Ainz and Shizu. So Shoutir is going to be missing a primary buff. Not really that big of a deal, though. She's AoE. Let's put another stack of Despair on just for funsies onesies because we have the points for it. We'll bring Mirai in for Shoutir. We'll use her live mode and her future hand again. That way we have a guaranteed hand of greens and we can do a 6 send on the nuke turn. That's going to be important for damage output, especially if it's an Ainz orb with his massive magic attack buff. And then we'll bring Shuna in because she has to be up front for this turn. So we'll use the crit and the magic buff now because why not? We're going to make it all back and then we can reset it with Rimuru again. And I wish I had more orbs for Ainz, but at this point, I kind of need the Shizu orbs too. So there we go. Let's go ahead and send it. Ainz will do really good damage with this extra buff on. 1, 2, 3, so 17k, 35k on his orbs. Pretty good. Now the only RNG at this point is we have to have a Shuna orb, which we do. Just 1 singular orb, but that's all that we need. Just 1, because we need an orb to swap out for Shoutir's ult. So we'll use the synergy buff. Synergy rate and magic characters 40% synergy power. We don't have enough points to use anything else, so we're going to just have to run it like this. So Ainz buff, Shizu buff, Shoutir buff, and then we'll use the final stack of Rimuru. Yeah, final stack. We've guaranteed ourselves a 6-hand send, and we'll go ahead and send Shoutir first because she lowers defense? Magic resistance? One of the 2. I can't remember. But, I mean, we'll do good damage here. Shoutir does 283. She's AoE, though. Shizu, 682. Fairly good. Ainz, 1.2 million right there. and then 62k on his orbs, and then the 200% comes in. So, I mean, yeah, it's not 4 million again. 2.8 is still a respectable number for the full Overlord team, which, you know, if people summon during it, because, you know, they wanted Shoutir, they wanted everybody, then you can honestly run this. Maybe you don't have Mirai, you just bring Nabe, right? If you don't have Idol Shuna, just bring another Orb Changer and call it a day. But, I mean, that's a respectable score right there. Let's move on. Alright, the final team I have for this short video is the Visions of Coleus team, 2nd anniversary. So people who were playing back then probably have this team. You know, Jean and Violet and Blanc have been featured on a number of banners since then. So it's probable that you have this team or some, you know, style of it. Maybe you don't have Lumi. Maybe you have Primal Demon Violet. Sure, that'll work too. We're nuking with Primal Demons, so whatever works, whatever, you know, floats your boat. But we've also brought free-to-play Water Rimuru, because we need someone to change green orbs. And we've brought Visions of Coleus Rimuru for the Rainbow Orbs, his Unity Orbs, to help us rush the ult. Because blues don't give you a lot of ult gauge, unless they're getting like some secondary buff to their ult gauge gain, which there's certainly units that do that. You know, Space Blanc can do it. I tried the Primal Demon team, like the actual Primal Demon team, it kind of sucked. So I'm not going to put it in this video. It kind of sucked. It's not my most favorite team in the world. Let's just put it that way. And it really needs to go to turn 8. That way we can use Earth Jean and her ability to the maximum power. So, I'll tell you, I tried it. You can try it if you want. If you have the Primal Demon team, then go ahead. Again, it really doesn't matter. But here, there's not a lot we can do here. But we do have a lot of points because we sent 6 greens. So we can orb change with Violet, and then we can use Water Rimuru, or, you know, some variation of it. And we're going to bring Water Rimuru in and then use Violet. Whatever works, as long as we're getting blues. And then we'll run it like this, because I want Coleus Rimuru in the back, and to use his Rainbow Orbs at full power, which means Rainbow Orbs with all 3 Primal Demon Girls, not 2 of them and then Water Rimuru, or something like that. Interesting hand. We can make it work, though, shockingly. We can make it work. So, we're going to use both of Rimuru's converts. Boom, boom. We have 76 points. We'll use Violet now, change those over, and now we got to bring Blanc in to get her 2 stacks on. Because, you know, ideally, you'd want 3 EX ults with this team, with all 3 girls. I don't get that this run, so there is room for improvement. But, I'm not overly concerned about it. Violet is 120. She has, but now that we've got the trait going for Space Lumi that's underneath Jean, she's actually going to do more damage, so I should have sent Jean first. Right there. Alright, that's not a great hand. That is certainly not a great hand right there. But we can kind of still get around it in a way. So the greens, 2 oranges, and now we can bring in Coleus Rimuru, and we'll get 4 Rainbow Orbs. You know, again, this run is not perfect, but at least we're getting, at least they're oranges for Violet, so we can get her EX ult here. So boom, we can combo all these orbs together. We can bring Blanc in her 1 orb, get a stack of Lumi on her, and we'll send this entire hand. It'll get us, I think, very close to a Jean EX ult, and it will get a Violet ult. Yeah. So there we go. And now we have one more turn to kind of clean up. If we can get a Blanc ult here, great. The two Reamers in the back are not going to be here for the nuke. They have no support power. But this is a good hand, right? We'll have 2 guaranteed orbs for Jean. I think we're going to be just a nut tap shy on Blanc's ult. If we had gotten 1 less Violet orb and 1 extra Blanc orb, we would have had at least 3 ults. But unfortunate that we didn't. So, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Get out of there. Yeah, just send it. I don't know what I was doing. Yeah, we are so very close. 1 extra orb is all we needed, but we didn't get it. Oh well. We have enough points to full nuke, though, by using, you know, all 3 80-point skills and then the EX alt buff from Jean. And so we'll do decent damage here, plus 2 more stacks of Lumi, giving us that guaranteed synergy. and we'll go ahead and send it. And we don't have enough points to full orb change, unfortunately. I'd like to send like 6 orbs here, but we can't. We got too many points going. So I don't know why I unclicked the synergy. Maybe I thought that I didn't have enough points because I'm terrible at math. I'll figure it out in the next like 10 seconds though, when I stare at it long enough. So let's just zoom ahead. There we go. All right, we clicked it. We've got all 4 buffs active. We can send the 2 Jean orbs because she does get the extra synergy power. She will be stronger than Violet. So Violet does 881. All right. Jean does 1.1 million. And then 56k on her orbs. And there you go. Like, you can use a blue team. You can use a green team. It really doesn't matter. Actually, I think I have one more team to show off. It's the New Year's Blessing team. So it's not as good. But it'll still get you a score. So we'll get all 3 colors at least represented in this video. All right, the final team, New Year's Blessing plus 2nd Anniversary Hinata. Guaranteed crit, guaranteed synergy, rainbow orbs. We've got the synergy power, the alt resistance down, the crit damage. Everything's going on here. We're gonna hold on to the Hinata element buff for Rimuru. We're only gonna nuke once with this team. I know you have the capability to do it twice because oranges give you literally so much damn alt gauge. But at this point, I was kind of done with the raid. I got tired of playing it, so I just wanted to get a team in here and use it that matched all 3 colors, greens, blues, and oranges. This is the most recent orange team, and well, it's the best orange team, but there's really not much competition going on either. So, but it is what it is. I mean, we're going to try and full buff Rimuru, which means we're going to have to hold his attack buff. Again, we're going to hold the element buff from Hinata. And then when we're ready to nuke on turn 6, we will then apply the buffs from Milim and Shinsha. We won't have the crit resistance active from Diablo, though, because we used that earlier, and we don't have enough points to do that, because this is a 6-turn fight, and all of the burst protectors, they stop giving you points on turn 5. So there will be an extra turn where you just do not get those extra 30 points, and you do have to account for that. So if you're too low, then you won't have enough to nuke, and that's not great. But we're doing 21k a hit. I mean, that's pretty good. And that's just, with Xion active. That's not like any other major buffs going on. I do have a light attack charm, which does help Rimuru out. But let's go ahead and apply his attack buff. His weakness strike, again, does not matter. It has no effect on this fight. We've got a full hand of oranges from using Milim's future hand last turn, so that takes away a lot of the RNG and potential nastiness that this could be, because Xion does not convert every orb, and there are times where you can get a full hand of greens or something like that, or almost a full hand of greens. So now, I think we're just going to send it. Yeah, we're just going to send it. We're not going to use Xion because oranges, again, do not give us a lot of protection gauge, and holding on to it is going to be very important. But after this, I believe we bring Rimuru back in and we use the element buff from Hinata. No, we've already used it. Never mind. Sorry. We used his personal buff and the element buff. He is in the back now for the rest of the fight, essentially. And now it's just kind of, can we get 3 EX alts with the girls? Because that's going to be the most impactful, because those are the people who are going to be up front on the final turn when we want to nuke. So Diablo's alt doesn't matter. Hinata's alt really doesn't matter. Trying to get the EX alt with these two, though, is important. So let's use the alt swap on Milim. We'll use another future hand of oranges, this time from Hinata, because it's cheaper. And we'll convert everything with Xion. Boom. This is the EX alt for Milim. Excellent. And the next turn we move on. We're going to send Milim to the back now. We can use the element buff from Hinata again, because we have enough points. I think ideally it'd be better if we got Shinsha's buff, EX alt, because I believe she's single target, but so there's some variance here that you could get to. But this hand does not matter. We're going to send it. It's a guaranteed 6 hand. These 2 alts are not important. We need to just make sure that we have orbs for everybody, and we get the EX alt for Shinsha here. So now, as long as we have the orbs to swap out, we will have everybody active, and we will have enough points, because we didn't use anything last turn. So we're capped out. And we were almost down bad here. But thankfully, we can kick Hinata away, kick her to the curb, we're done with her, and we can bring Rimuru in, and that'll bring in that Diablo Orb, which now we can bring in Milim. So, and since we didn't use any points last turn, we are capped at 100, which means we have exactly enough, almost, to use both of the other buffs, plus Shion, for full power. Remember that both Milim and Rimuru have the extra element buff on as well, from Hinata. Unfortunately, we have no Rimuru orbs. 336, Shinsha 258, 750 with Rimuru. You know, yeah, 1.8, 1.9 million damage there, somewhere in there. 1.7, oh, that was overestimating. So there we go. There's an orange team that you can use. That's it for me, though. Again, your rank really doesn't matter. Just, you know, contribute to the overall global reward so everyone gets stuff. But that's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.